My name is Ethan. I died at my own wedding. It wasn't an accident. I was poisoned. The moment the poison took effect, I watched the terrified expressions of the guests below, watched the bride Olivia rush toward that man in the audience, and everything became clear. She never loved me. She never had. That man is called Noah, the brother I grew up with and the person I trust most. Olivia is the woman I pursued for 5 years. She said she needed time to think, to see my sincerity. I thought she was testing me, but I didn't expect she had been waiting for someone else to summon the courage. Ethan, Olivia finally ran onto the stage, tears falling like strings of pearls breaking apart. I wanted to speak, but found even my tongue wouldn't obey. I'm sorry, she sobbed as if her heart would break. I didn't know it would be like this. I really didn't know. Didn't know what? Didn't know Noah would poison me? Or didn't know I would die so quickly? In my last hazy moments of consciousness, I saw a girl in the crowd holding a phone and making a call, probably to call an ambulance. It was Sophia, my college classmate, and the only one who had from the start advised me not to chase after Olivia. She said, "Ethan, some people aren't worth you doing this for." But at the time I thought she was jealous. Now that I think about it, she must have seen something long ago. At the moment the poison hit, a lot of things came back to me. I remembered Olivia always leaving our dates early. I remembered her constantly listening to me absent-mindedly. I remembered the light in her eyes when she looked at Noah. The details I had chosen to ignore became unbearably clear in the face of death. I should have woken up sooner. But now it's too late to say anything. Everything went black, and the world fell into eternal silence. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the spring of my junior year. In the dorm, my roommate Lucas was playing a game. Noticing I was awake, he didn't even look up as he said, "Ethan, Olivia is waiting for you downstairs." Olivia? I was stunned for a few seconds. Then all my memories surged back like a tide. I was reborn, sent back to the night I first confessed to Olivia and was rejected. Back then I acted like a fool, thinking she refused me out of shyness. So I decided to spend 5 years proving my sincerity, winning her over with countless flowers, gifts, and my constant presence. Thinking back now, it's really laughable. Some people are simply not meant for you. No amount of effort will do more than move yourself. I stood up to straighten my clothes. Lucas glanced at me curiously. "What's wrong? Aren't you usually so thrilled you practically jump whenever you hear Olivia's name?" "Nothing," I said calmly. "I'll go down and take a look." Downstairs, Olivia was wearing a white dress, her long hair flowing. She was indeed very beautiful. When she saw me come down, a somewhat forced smile appeared on her face. "Ethan, about what happened this afternoon." "I understand." I interrupted her. "You rejected me, and I accept it." Olivia froze, clearly not expecting me to say that. In my past life, I said a lot of childish things at times like this. "I'll wait for you forever. One day I'll make you see how good I am." Thinking back now, those words are so laughable. "You're really not angry?" she asked cautiously. "Why be angry?" I asked in return. "Loving someone is my freedom, and refusing me is your freedom too." She let out a sigh of relief, then said, "Can we still be friends?" In my previous life, I agreed without hesitation, thinking that would let me gradually get closer to her. Now I shook my head. "Forget it. It's better if we keep our distance." A trace of disappointment flashed across Olivia's face, but she quickly concealed it. Then, fine. She turned and walked away, her steps a little hurried, as if escaping something. I watched her back quietly, my heart completely unmoved. Having experienced death once, some obsessions naturally fell away. Just then, a familiar voice sounded behind me. "Have you figured it out?" I turned around and saw Sophia standing under the tree's shadow, holding a thick professional book. In my previous life, I was busy chasing Olivia and never took a close look at Sophia. Now I realized she was actually very pretty. Not the flamboyant kind of beauty Olivia had, but a quiet beauty. She always wore simple clothes, didn't wear makeup, yet her eyes were very clear and sincere. Sort of. I walked toward her. "What are you doing here?" "Just passing by," she said, then glanced in the direction Olivia had left. What did she want from you? To turn me down, I said calmly. Sophia blinked, and then I accepted it and decided not to bother her anymore. She nodded as if she'd long expected that outcome. That's quite good. We walked side by side toward the dormitory building when Sophia suddenly said, Ethan, do you know, sometimes the best kind of love isn't a sweeping, dramatic pursuit, but quiet, unnoticed companionship. I stopped, looked at her, and asked, Are you implying something? Her face flushed, and she looked down at the book in her hands. No, I was just saying it casually. But I knew she wasn't saying it casually. In my past life, she watched me pester Olivia to death. She saw it all, and had repeatedly advised me to give up. She said Olivia had someone else in her heart, that my doing this would only hurt myself. At the time, I thought she was jealous. Only now do I understand she was genuinely concerned for me. Sophia, I called after her. HM? She looked up, a cautious hope in her eyes. Are you free tomorrow night? I'd like to take you out to dinner. Her eyes lit up for a moment, then dimmed. Aren't asking me to help you woo Olivia, are you? I smiled. I've already said it. I won't chase her anymore. Then why are you? Because I want to get to know you. I looked at her seriously. In my past life, before, I always ignored you. Now I want to make up for that mistake. She stared at me in a daze and didn't speak for a long time. After a long while, she nodded. Okay. Back at the dorm, Lucas asked curiously, How did it go? Did Olivia forgive you? No, I said, but there's no need for forgiveness anymore. What do you mean? I'm not going after her. Lucas almost fell off his chair. Do you have a fever? I shook my head without explaining. Some things you only understand after you've been through them. That night, I lay in bed and thought a lot. Thinking of all the details of Olivia and Noah being together in my past life. Thinking of my clown-like performances. Thinking of Sophia's goodwill that I had ignored. If I could start over, I would want a different life. A life that wouldn't leave me covered in wounds. The next day, I met Noah in the library. He obviously froze for a moment when he saw me, then greeted me awkwardly. Ethan, what are you doing here? In my previous life, I never came to the library. I spent all my time trying to please Olivia. Studying. I answered simply, then went back to the book in my hands. Noah sat across from me, looking like he wanted to say something, but held back. Say what you need to say. I didn't even look up. About Olivia yesterday. Are you okay? He asked cautiously. I looked up at him. In my previous life, I treated him as my best brother and shared everything with him. But now I knew he had long had feelings for Olivia. He just never confessed. I'm fine, I said. Just got rejected. It's not the end of the world. Noah clearly hadn't expected me to be so calm. He probed. So, will you still pursue her? No. A trace of pleasure flashed in his eyes, but he quickly covered it up. Why? Don't you like her a lot? Liking someone and getting them are two different things. I closed the book and looked at him. Since someone else is in her heart, why should I make a fool of myself? Noah's expression shifted slightly. She has someone else in her heart. Didn't you know? I asked deliberately. He shook his head, but his gaze was somewhat evasive. I smiled and didn't continue that topic. In my previous life, they had been in contact behind the scenes, and the person involved, was the last to find out. Thinking about it now, it's truly ironic. When I left the library, I ran into Sophia at the entrance. She was carrying a stack of books that looked somewhat heavy. Let me help you, I offered, stepping forward. No, it's fine. I can manage, she said. It's okay. I took the book from her without a word. It's so heavy. You'll get tired carrying it alone. Sophia looked up at me, surprise and delight in her eyes. Thank you. We walked out together. Suddenly Sophia said, You look different today. Different how? You used to always have a restless look in your eyes, but now you seem very calm. She paused. Is it because you let Olivia go? I nodded. Sort of. Some people are simply not meant to be yours. Forcing it only brings you pain. Then, do you have someone you like now? Her voice was very small, almost inaudible. I stopped walking, looked at her flushed cheeks, and a warm feeling suddenly welled up in my chest. In my past life, While I spent 5 years chasing Olivia, Sophia quietly stayed by my side. She comforted me when I was down, laughed with me when I was happy, and reminded me when I made mistakes. But at that time, my heart and eyes were full of Olivia. I never noticed how good she was. Yes, I said seriously. Her expression dimmed. It is who? She's a very special girl. I looked at her. She's not flashy, not pretentious, and she has the most sincere heart. She guides me when I'm lost. She warns me in time when I make mistakes, and she tells me the truth when everyone else thinks I'm right. Sophia stared at me, tears slowly welling up in her eyes. She's beautiful, though she might not see it herself. Her beauty isn't on the outside, but in her soul. She made me understand what true love is. Ethan, her voice trembled. Sophia, will you give me a chance? I held her hand. Give me the chance to love you properly. Tears slid down her cheeks, and she nodded vigorously. Yes, I will. I gently held her, feeling the tremor in her body. At that moment, I suddenly understood what peace of mind meant. Not the excitement of having captured prey, not the thrill of conquest, but a calm and profound contentment. It felt like a ship that had drifted for a long time, finally finding a harbor. Sorry, I whispered in her ear, for making you wait so long. She shook her head. Not long. Not long at all. Actually, I knew she had been waiting a long time, quietly liking me since freshman year. She watched me suffer for Olivia, watched me hit wall after wall, watched me tear myself apart. But she never took advantage of my weakness. Instead, she kept urging me to pull myself together. How could one not feel pity for such a girl? I won't make you wait anymore, I promised. She laughed in my arms, laughing like a child. Okay. That night, we went to a small restaurant near the school. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was cozy. Sophia ordered the cheapest dishes she could. I knew she was saving money for me. In my past life, I spent a lot of my family's dollars chasing Olivia. Buying expensive gifts, booking fancy restaurants, doing those things I thought were romantic. But Olivia was never truly happy. Now, watching Sophia reveal a satisfied smile over a simple bowl of noodle soup, I suddenly understand what it means to be content. What are you thinking about? She asks, noticing I'm zoning out. I was thinking about the past, I said. Thinking about how I could have missed someone as good as you. She blushed. I'm not as good as you say. You are, I said earnestly. Even better than I imagined. She looked down at her soup, not daring to meet my eyes. I know she wasn't used to such direct expressions. In my previous life, I never said anything like this to her. But I wanted her to know the place she held in my heart. Sophia, I want to ask you a question. Why did you tell me from the start not to chase Olivia? She put down her chopsticks and, after a moment of silence, said, because I could tell she had someone else in her heart. How could you tell? If a girl really likes you, she can't hide in her eyes. But when Olivia looks at you, there is no love in her eyes, only apology and a sense of burden. She paused, and I've seen the way she looks at another person. There was light in her eyes. My heart stirred. Another person? Noah. She spoke the name I had expected. Even if they think they're hiding it well, you can't hide the way you look at someone when you like them. Sure enough, nothing could be hidden from her. If you've already seen through it, why didn't you just tell me? She gave a bitter laugh. Do you think you would have believed me if I had? You would just think I said it out of jealousy. I held her hand. I'm sorry, I was so stubborn back then. It's okay. Don't you understand now? She held my hand back. Actually, I should thank Olivia. If she hadn't rejected you, you wouldn't have seen me. I looked at her tender eyes, a wave of guilt swelling in my heart. She has given so much for me, and I was completely unaware. I will make it up to you properly in the future, I promised. She shook her head. I don't need compensation. I just want you to be able to see me. That's enough. Such a simple request, yet I made her wait for so long. I really am a jerk. After dinner, I walked her back to the dormitory building. The campus was very quiet at night, with only the streetlights casting a gentle glow. I had a great time today, she said. It was even better than I imagined. Then let's do this often from now on. Okay. She nodded, then rose on her tiptoes and gently kissed my cheek. Good night. Watching her run toward the dormitory building, I couldn't help but laugh. This feeling is wonderful. No need to guess, no need to probe, no need to carefully maintain things. All that's needed is to treat each other sincerely. The next day in class, I noticed Olivia and Noah sitting together. In my previous life, they were more cautious at this point, not daring to act too openly. Now that I'm no longer pursuing Olivia, they have started to feel defiant. Human nature is sometimes that complicated. After class, Olivia took the initiative to come up to me. "Ethan, have you really decided not to pursue me?" There was an unmistakable sense of disappointment in her tone. I looked at her, my heart completely calm. "Yes." "Why?" she pressed on. "Is it because I refused too directly?" I shook my head. "Not because of you, but because I've come to understand." "Understand what?" "I've realized that a relationship forced into existence won't bring happiness." I stood up. "Olivia, you're a good girl, but you're not right for me." Her face went a little pale. "Then, who is right for you?" "Sophia." I didn't hide it. Olivia was stunned. She clearly hadn't expected me to have a new target so quickly. "Sophia? When did you?" "Since yesterday," I said. "She's a very good girl. I had been overlooking her before." Olivia bit her lip, a flicker of complicated emotion in her eyes. I knew what she was thinking. In my previous life, I chased her for 5 years. Countless times she hinted that someone else was in her heart, but I refused to let go. Now that I had so quickly fallen for someone else, she probably felt her own allure was being questioned. Women are like that sometimes. When they can't have something, they don't cherish it, but once they've lost it, they become resentful. "Are you serious?" she asked. "Very serious." I packed my bag. "More serious than the feelings I had for you before." Those words pierced her heart like a thorn. Her face grew even paler. "Then we have nothing left to say." I cut her off. "Olivia, I wish you happiness. Being with someone who truly loves you will make you happy." She stared at me in a daze, not saying anything for a long while. I ignored her and walked out of the classroom. When I reached the door, I heard Noah's comforting voice behind me. "Olivia, it's okay. If he doesn't cherish you, that's his loss." I couldn't help shaking my head. Wasn't I the one who comforted myself like that in my past life? But now I understand it's not anyone's loss. It just wasn't a good match. In the afternoon, Sophia came to see me. She had an uncontainable happiness on her face. "I heard you rejected Olivia today." News travels that fast. I was a little surprised. "She came to see me," Sophia said, "to ask if it's true that I'm really with you." "How did you answer?" I said yes. "Is there a problem?" She imitated Olivia's tone, then giggled. You should have seen her expression at the time. I couldn't help laughing too. "You're pretty proud of yourself." "Of course I am." She linked her arm with mine. "I beat the prettiest girl in school, you know." "You're beautiful too," I said earnestly. She shook her head. "I know my own limits. Olivia is indeed more beautiful than I am. Outer beauty is fleeting. Inner beauty is what endures." I stopped walking and looked at her, and in my eyes, "You're more beautiful than anyone." Her face flushed, and she pushed me. "You smooth-talking charmer." We went up the small hill behind the school. There was a pavilion there that few people visited. Sitting in the pavilion, Sophia suddenly asked me, "Ethan, will you ever regret someday?" "Regret what?" "Regret choosing me instead of Olivia." Her voice was very soft, bearing a trace of unease. "She's so beautiful, comes from a good family, has so many suitors." I took her hand. "Sophia, I'm going to ask you a question. If one day I encounter difficulty and need someone's help, what would you do?" She replied without hesitation, "I would do everything I could to help you. If helping me would mean you had to take on risk, then I would be willing too. If helping me means you have to give up your own interests, I still would." She looked at me, eyes steady. "Because I love you." I gently stroked her cheek. "That's why I chose you. Not because you're so beautiful, not because of your family status, but because of your heart." Tears welled in her eyes. "But Olivia wouldn't." I cut her off. "She only stays by my side when things are going smoothly. Once I hit a rough patch, she'll be the first to leave. This wasn't speculation, but a lesson learned in blood from my previous life. After Olivia married me, she appeared to be a good wife on the surface, but in her heart she was always thinking of Noah. When I was kidnapped by enemies, she not only didn't believe my cries for help, she thought I was putting on a show. And Sophia? At the wedding in my past life, everyone else fled in terror. She was the only one who immediately took out her phone to call an ambulance. Although she ultimately couldn't save my life, she was the only one who tried. That's the difference. How are you so sure? Sophia asked curiously. I couldn't tell her about my rebirth, so I could only say, a feeling. She smiled. Your intuition is pretty accurate. If only in my previous life I had trusted my intuition sooner. The sky grew dark, and we went down the mountain back to school. On the way, we ran into Lucas. When he saw Sophia and me holding hands, he was so surprised his mouth couldn't close. Ethan, what are you? We're together, I admitted openly. Lucas looked at me in disbelief, then at Sophia. Since when? Since yesterday, Sophia said shyly. What about Olivia? Wasn't she your favorite? I shook my head. I liked the wrong person before. I'm correcting it now. Lucas still found it hard to believe. Are you sure you don't have a fever? I took Sophia's hand. Let's go. Don't pay him any mind. Sophia giggled as she left with me, leaving Lucas standing alone, disheveled in the wind. Back in the dorm, I found a bouquet of flowers and a card on my desk. The card read, Ethan, I think we can start over. Olivia. I looked at the card, and an indescribable feeling welled up inside me. In my past life, I gave her countless bouquets, but she never accepted a single one. Now that I'm no longer chasing her, she has started taking the initiative instead. I threw the flowers and the card into the trash, then sent Sophia a text. I've been thinking about you. She replied quickly. I've been thinking about you too. Just a few simple words, yet they filled my heart with warmth. This is what love should look like. Simple and beautiful. No need to guess. No need to test the waters. No need to worry about gains and losses. All that's needed is to love each other sincerely. A week later, the school held a club recruitment fair. Sophia and I went to the club recruitment fair together, planning to find a few interesting clubs to join. At the literature club's booth, we ran into Olivia and Noah. Olivia looked noticeably displeased when she saw us holding hands. You're signing up for clubs too? Noah greeted us first, but his tone was somewhat awkward. Yeah. I replied to him, what about you? We want to join the literature club. Olivia said, then looked at Sophia. Sophia, your writing has always been excellent. Why don't you join the literature club too? Sophia shook her head. I want to join the volunteer association. The volunteer association? Olivia frowned. That club is pretty tiring. They often have to do public service activities. I think it's quite meaningful. Sophia said, being able to help others makes you happy too. Olivia curled her lip, clearly not understanding. I suddenly remembered some things from my past life. Sophia did join the volunteer association and often volunteered at orphanages and nursing homes. She had even invited me to go with her, but I refused to stay with Olivia. Now that I think about it, I missed a lot of wonderful times with her. I want to join the volunteer association too, I said. Sophia looked at me with surprise. Really? Really? I nodded. Doing meaningful things with you. Olivia said coldly from the side, Ethan, you used to hate doing this kind of thing. People can change, I replied calmly. I was indeed very immature before. That remark made Olivia's face look even worse. She was probably remembering the things I used to do to please her. Then let's go sign up first. I took Sophia's hand. Good luck to you both. After leaving the literature club's booth, Sophia asked me curiously, do you really want to join the volunteer association? You're not saying that just to accompany me, are you? Of course not, I said earnestly. I really want to do something meaningful. I used to waste my time on pointless pursuits. Now I want to change. Her eyes shone. Then let's work hard together. At the Volunteer Association's booth, we met the club president, a senior named Daniel. He glanced at our registration form and said with a smile, welcome to join us. But let me make one thing clear. Our club has a lot of activities and they're quite tiring. so you need to be prepared. We're not afraid of hard work, Sophia said. Daniel nodded. That's good. This weekend, we're going to a primary school in the Chingsong Mountain area to do volunteer teaching. Do you want to participate? Sophia and I exchanged a look, and we both saw the excitement in each other's eyes. We'll participate, I said. Daniel smiled satisfactorily. Good. I'll let you know the specific arrangements then. After leaving the club recruitment site, Sophia said excitedly, We're really going to do volunteer teaching. Seeing her so happy, a sense of unprecedented fulfillment rose in my heart. In my past life, I spent countless US dollars to please Olivia and did countless things I thought were romantic, yet I never felt this kind of heartfelt joy. Now I understand that true happiness doesn't come from receiving something, but from giving something. The weekend arrived quickly. Early in the morning, we gathered and set off for the Chingsong Mountain area. The drive took a little over 3 hours, and Sophia fell asleep on my shoulder. I watched her peaceful sleeping face, a boundless tenderness welling up inside me. A girl like this is worth a lifetime of protection. By the time we arrived at Chingsong Mountain Primary School, the children were already waiting for us. This is a rural primary school with only a couple dozen students. The conditions are very poor, but the children's eyes all shine with a thirst for knowledge. Good morning, teacher, the children shouted in unison. Sophia was moved to tears by the sound. They are so adorable. Over the next 2 days, we studied with the children, played with them, and ate with them. I teach them math, and Sophia teaches them language arts. Watching the children study so earnestly, I felt a sense of accomplishment for the first time. The next night, Sophia and I sat on the playground watching the stars. The night sky over the mountains was clear, the heavens sparkling with countless stars. Ethan, Sophia gently called my name. Thank you for coming here with me. She leaned on my shoulder. I feel so happy. I feel happy too. I took her hand. Happier than I've ever been. Before. She looked up at me. You mean when you were with Olivia? I shook my head. I was never truly with her. What I thought was being together was actually just my own one-sided wish. Do you regret it? She asked cautiously, regretting that you saw me so late? I gently kissed her forehead. No regret. If I hadn't had those experiences, I wouldn't have understood what true love is. She laughed in my arms. Then I should thank Olivia. Why? If she hadn't rejected you, you wouldn't have noticed me either. I hug her tightly. One day you'll get my attention because there's light in you. She tilted her head up at me. What light? The light of kindness, the light of sincerity, the light of goodness. I looked into her eyes. That kind of light will sooner or later catch my eye. Tears welled in her eyes. Ethan, I love you. I love you too. I gently stroked her cheek, more than I thought I did. That night, we held each other and watched the stars all night long. There was nothing more romantic than that. After returning from the teaching trip, my relationship with Sophia grew even deeper. We began planning our future, discussing jobs after graduation and which city to live in. Sophia wants to be a teacher. I want to start a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping children in mountainous areas. Although these plans are still far off, we are both working earnestly toward them. Just as we were immersed in our sweet romance, an unexpected piece of news arrived. Olivia and Noah broke up. The news was told to me by Lucas, who said gossipingly, I heard Olivia broke up with him. I don't know the specific reason, but she looked very upset. I didn't feel much after hearing it, just a bit surprised. In the previous life, they only got together after graduating, and their relationship was always very good. How could they break up in this life? But that has nothing to do with me. Right now, I'm only concerned about Sophia. But obviously, Olivia didn't see it that way. The next afternoon, she came to find me. Sophia and I were reading in the library when she suddenly appeared in front of us. She looked haggard, her eyes red. Obviously, she'd been crying. Ethan, can I talk to you alone? She said. Sophia looked at me, and I squeezed her hand. Wait here for me. I'll be right back. I followed Olivia out to the garden outside the library. Do you need to talk to me about something? I asked directly. She bit her lip, then said, Noah and I broke up. I heard, I said calmly. My condolences. She froze for a moment. clearly not expecting me to use the word "my condolences." "Don't you have anything else to say?" she asked. "What should I say?" I retorted. "Congrats on finally seeing his true face." Her expression changed. "What do you mean?" "Noah likes you, but he prefers the feeling of conquering me." I looked at her. After I stepped back, he found victory came too easily, and the thrill of conquest was gone. So he started picking at you, began finding fault with this and that about you. Olivia widened her eyes. How do you know?" "Just a guess," I said. "Because I know him." In fact, it wasn't a guess. In my previous life, I saw Noah's attitude toward Olivia with my own eyes. After I died, they did end up together, but Noah soon grew tired of Olivia. Things that come too easily are often not cherished. "Are you satisfied now?" Olivia had tears in her eyes. "Aren't you happy to see us break up?" I shook my head. "I have no feelings about it. Your affairs have nothing to do with me." "Nothing to do with you?" she said excitedly. "Ethan, you clearly still love me. You got together with Sophia so quickly just to spite me, didn't you?" I couldn't help laughing. "Olivia, you think much too highly of yourself." She was stunned. "I'm with Sophia because I love her," I said seriously. "Not to spite anyone, and certainly not to get revenge." "Impossible," she shook her head. "How could you forget me so quickly? You chased me for so long." "That's because I didn't know what love was before." I looked at her. "Now I do." "What about me?" she cried. "I know I was wrong now. I regret it now. Can't we start over?" I watched her quietly, feeling nothing at all. In my past life, if I had heard her say that, I would have rushed to her without hesitation. But now, I only found it laughable. "Olivia, do you know what true love is?" I asked her. She stared at me in a daze. "True love is not possession, not conquest, not destroying something because you can't have it," I said. "True love is understanding, is tolerance, is unconditional giving." "Then why can't you understand me?" "Tolerate me?" she asked through tears. "Because you never had me in your heart." I shook my head. "You're just used to my kindness, used to the feeling of being pursued. Now that it's gone, you feel reluctant." "But this isn't love, it's possessiveness." She was left speechless by what I said. "Olivia, forget me," I said at last. "Go find someone who truly loves you, and learn to truly love someone in return." After saying that, I turned and walked away. Her sobs came from behind me, but I didn't turn back. Some paths, once taken wrong, can never be returned to. Back in the library, Sophia saw my expression and knew what had happened. "She wants to get back together with you?" she asked cautiously. I nodded, then took her hand. But I refused. Joy flickered in her eyes. Then she said with concern, "You won't regret it, will you?" "Never," I said seriously, "because I've already found the best." She blushed, then hugged me tightly. "Me too." From that day on, Olivia never came to find me again. I heard she transferred to another major and rarely appeared in front of us. I think this is fine. At least she finally understood what it means to give up hope. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye it was senior year. Sophia and I were growing closer and closer. We had already begun discussing marriage. Although I hadn't officially proposed yet, we both knew we were meant to spend our lives together. Just then, Noah suddenly came looking for me. That night, he appeared drunk onto my dormitory building. "Ethan, come out for a moment," he shouted loudly. I went downstairs to see him and found that he was very drunk. "What's wrong with you?" I asked. "I regret it." He grabbed my shoulders. "Ethan, I really regret it." "Regret what?" "Regretting stealing your woman." Tears welled in his eyes. "Olivia, she never loved me. What was always in her heart was you." I frowned. "What did you say?" "After she got together with me, she always praised you, always compared me to you," he said painfully. "She said you're gentler than me, more considerate than me, kinder than me. She said she had rejected you back then because she was afraid she wasn't good enough for you." I listened a little stunned. This was completely different from what I had imagined. "She said she's been waiting for you to change your mind, waiting for you to pursue her again." Noah continued, "But you really have changed. You really don't love her anymore." She couldn't accept that fact, so she broke up with me. I fell silent. So that's how things were. "Ethan, I'm sorry." Noah cried. I shouldn't have taken advantage of the situation. I shouldn't have stolen your woman. I steadied him. It's all in the past. But I'm in so much pain right now, he said. I love her, but she doesn't love me. Just like you used to. I looked at him and suddenly understood what they mean by karma. When I was suffering in my past life, how did he comfort me? It seemed he said, it's her loss for not treasuring you. Now it's his turn to feel this kind of pain. Noah, I want to ask you something, I said. What? If you could turn back time, would you still choose to be with Olivia? He thought for a moment, then shook his head. No. Why? Because what you can't have always stirs unrest, and the favor become brazen. He gave a bitter laugh. Only after I had her did I realize she always had someone else in her heart. That feeling is really painful. I patted his shoulder. Then let it go. Let it go. He looked at me. How do you let it go? By finding something better. I thought of Sophia, warmth swelling in my chest. I found someone who truly loves me. And I found someone I truly love. Noah looked at me enviously. That's wonderful. When will I be like you? There will be such a day, I said, but on the condition that you truly let go of Olivia. He nodded, then staggered away. Watching his back, I suddenly felt that fate was truly strange. In my previous life, our positions were reversed. Now we have switched roles again. But in any case, I'm grateful for all that happened. Because it made me understand what true love is, and it led me to the person who truly belongs to me. In the second semester of my senior year, I proposed to Sophia. The place was the little restaurant where we had our first date. No flowers, no diamond ring, only a simple silver band. Sophia, will you marry me? I knelt on one knee, looking at her surprised eyes. She covered her mouth, tears welling in her eyes. Didn't you prepare some romantic setting? She said, laughing through her tears. I think this place is romantic enough, I said seriously. This is where we began, and it should be where we promise forever. She nodded vigorously. I do. I slipped the ring onto her finger, then held her tightly. The other diners in the restaurant applauded. We shared a deep kiss amid the clapping. In that moment, I felt like the happiest person in the world. On graduation day, we wore our caps and gowns and took many photos. Olivia also came to the ceremony. She watched us from a distance, her eyes filled with complicated emotions. When our eyes met, she nodded to me, then turned and walked away. I knew she had finally truly let go. After graduation, Sophia and I returned to my hometown, Creekvale. I used my savings to start a Johnson educational charity that specifically helps underprivileged students. Sophia works as a teacher at the local high school. Our life is simple, but very happy. Every morning we get up together, have breakfast together, then go to work separately. In the evenings we come home, cook together, watch TV together, and talk together. On weekends we either go to teach in the Chingsong Mountains or visit the children who need help. This life was peaceful and fulfilling, not earth-shattering or spectacular, but warm in a steady, enduring way. On our wedding day, we didn't hold a grand ceremony. We only invited both sets of parents and a few closest friends. The ceremony was simple, but our vows were sincere. I vow that whether in poverty or wealth, in sickness or in health, I will love you, protect you, and cherish you, I said, holding Sophia's hand. I also swear, no matter when or where, I will stay by your side, support you, understand you, and face life's storms and trials with you. Sophia replied with tears in her eyes. When we exchanged rings, I remembered the wedding from my previous life. Back then, I had said the same vows, but they were just a performance spoken for others to hear. Now, every word I speak comes from the bottom of my heart. That's the difference. Sincerity and pretense can be told at a glance. On our wedding night, we lay in bed chatting. Ethan, have you ever wondered what we would have been like if Olivia hadn't turned you down back then? Sophia asked, lying on my chest. I thought for a moment. Then we wouldn't be together. Will you regret it? No. I stroked her hair. Because if that were the case, I wouldn't be who I am now. What do you mean? You made me become a better person. I said earnestly. Without you, I would never have understood what true love is, and I would never know what true happiness is. She laughed in my arms. Smooth talker. This is the truth. I lightly kissed her forehead. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for seeing me, she replied. We fell asleep in each other's arms, our hearts filled with longing for the future. The following year, Sophia became pregnant. When we heard the news, we were so happy we didn't know what to say. We're going to be parents. Sophia touched her not yet showing belly, her face full of happiness. Our child will definitely be beautiful. I also touched her belly. Kind and wonderful like you. What if it's a boy? Then he'll be as handsome and smart as me. I joked. She laughed and gave me a playful punch. Shameless. During the pregnancy, I took even greater care of her. Every morning I make her a nutritious breakfast, give her a massage at night, accompany her to prenatal checkups, and walk with her. Watching her belly grow day by day, the sense of happiness in my heart increased day by day. This feeling is something I had never experienced in my previous life. Back then my heart and eyes were full of Olivia. I never once thought about having children. Only now do I understand that when you truly love someone, you want to build a complete family with her. The day the child was born, I waited anxiously outside the delivery room. When I heard the baby's cry, I couldn't hold back my tears. A nurse came out and told me, "Congratulations, it's a boy. Mother and child are safe." I rushed into the delivery room and saw Sophia's weak but satisfied smile, and my heart swelled with emotion. Well done. I held her hand. Thank you for giving me such an adorable baby. No trouble. She looked at the child in her arms. For you both, it's all worth it. We named the baby Ethan Jr. Taylor, hoping he would be as kind and innocent as Sophia. After we had a child, our lives became busier but also more fulfilling. Watching the little one grow bit by bit every day, learning to smile, to talk, to walk, that feeling of happiness is indescribable. Sophia is a very good mother, patient and gentle. She responds promptly to every need of the child. I also try hard to be a good father. After work, I play with our child, tell him stories, and teach him to read. Our little family is harmonious and happy, filled with love and laughter. Sometimes I wonder if I hadn't died in my previous life, if I had really ended up with Olivia, what would it have been like? It probably wouldn't have been this kind of happiness, because a marriage without love is destined not to last. And a marriage filled with love, even if ordinary, can make one feel fulfilled. This is the greatest gain of my rebirth. It wasn't vengeance, nor some great acquisition, but learning how to love. Learning to love someone truly worth loving, and learning to be loved by someone who truly loves me. When our son was 3, we decided to have another child. Sophia said, "Little Ethan is too lonely by himself. Having a sibling would be better." Of course I agreed. The little family I built with her gave me so much happiness, and I hoped that happiness could continue. The second child was a daughter. We named her Sophia Jr. Taylor. With 2 children, the house became livelier. The older brother doted on his sister and always shared his toys with her. Sophia watched the siblings playing together and always wore a contented smile. "This is the life I want," she said, leaning on my shoulder. Ordinary but happy. Me too. I held her, happier than I imagined. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, the children were all in elementary school. My Johnson Education charity grew bigger and bigger, helping many children from poor families. Sophia became a key teacher at the school and was much loved by the students. Our life was stable and fulfilling. Though not wealthy, it was happy enough. In the midst of this peaceful life, an accident happened again. That day I went to Lancer City for a meeting and met Olivia in the hotel lobby. 10 years had passed. She had changed a lot. Wearing a designer suit and tasteful makeup, she looked very successful, but there was an undeniable exhaustion in her eyes. She saw me too, froze for a few seconds, then walked over. "Ethan, is it really you?" She could hardly believe it. "It's me." I nodded. "Hello, Olivia." We sat down in the hotel's cafe to talk. She told me that after graduation, she went to the big city to make her way, and now she's an executive at a company, very successful in her career. And the relationship? I asked politely. Her eyes dimmed. I was married, but we divorced. And children? No children. She shook her head. I've always focused on my career and felt children would hold me back. I nodded, saying nothing. She suddenly asked me, "How about you? Are you still with Sophia?" "We've been married 10 years, I said. "We have 2 children." A complex emotion flickered in her eyes. "Are you happy?" "I'm very happy," I answered without hesitation. She was silent for a moment, then said, "Ethan, can I ask you a question?" "What?" "If I hadn't turned you down back then, would we have been happy?" I looked at her, thought for a moment, and said, "No." She froze. "Why?" "Because you never truly loved me," I said calmly. "A marriage without love cannot be happy. But now I know you're better, and I'm regretting it now." Her voice trembled a little. I shook my head. "Olivia, some things once missed are missed, and your regret now is only because you see I'm doing well and think you missed something back then. That's not love, that's regret." She was left speechless by what I said. "True love doesn't require regret because it happens naturally," I continued. "Just like my feelings for Sophia. From the moment I met her, I knew she was the one." "But you used to love me so much." "That wasn't love, it was obsession." I cut her off. "I was fixated on having you, but I never truly understood you. Now I realize that understanding someone is more important than possessing them." Tears welled in Olivia's eyes. "So, does that mean we really don't have a chance?" "Olivia, forget me," I said seriously. "Go find someone who truly suits you. Go live a life that's yours. Don't keep living in the shadow of the past." She cried, but I didn't soften. Some things must be made clear. Some boundaries must be drawn. I already have my own happiness. I can't ruin it all because of a momentary pity. After saying goodbye to Olivia, I immediately called Sophia. "Wife, I miss you," I said. She laughed on the other end of the line. "You miss me after being out for just one day?" I miss you very much." I looked out at the night view. "I miss you, and I miss the children." "We miss you too." Little Ethan asked me when Daddy is coming home, and little Sophia said she'll wait for you to come back to tell her stories. Hearing her gentle voice, an endless warmth surged through my heart. "I'll go back tomorrow," I said. "Our family will be together forever." "Okay," she said. "I'll wait for you to come back." After hanging up, I suddenly understood something. True happiness is not about what you have gained, but about knowing what is worth cherishing. The night I returned home, I told Sophia about Olivia. She was silent for a moment after listening, then said, "Would you be tempted?" "No," I answered without hesitation, "because I know what true love is." She leaned on my shoulder. "I believe you, but I also understand her feelings. After all, you're so outstanding. In my eyes, you are the most outstanding." I held her tight. "You gave me a complete family, gave me real happiness. Olivia could never do those things." Sophia laughed in my arms. "We are truly very happy." "Yes, happier than in my previous life. Happier than I ever imagined." The next morning, little Ethan and little Sophia ran to the side of our bed, clamoring for me to play with them. Looking at the children's innocent, smiling faces, an immense sense of contentment welled up inside me. This is the life I wanted, simple and beautiful. A few months later, I heard that Olivia had left Land City to go farther away to pursue her career. I think that was better for her. Sometimes distance is the best cure. After that, I never thought about my past life again, because I already have everything better than in my previous life. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, we have been married for 20 years. Little Ethan was admitted to the normal university, choosing the same major as his mother. Little Sophia, on the other hand, is very gifted in the arts and is preparing for the art entrance exams. My Johnson Education charity has already helped thousands of impoverished students, and Sophia has also become an excellent teacher in Land City. Our life may not be wealthy, but it is happy enough. It was our wedding anniversary that day, and I was planning a surprise for Sophia. I took her back to the little restaurant where we had our first date. 20 years had passed. The restaurant was still there, and the owner was still the same owner, only with much whiter hair. Do you remember this place? I asked Sophia. She smiled and nodded. Of course I remember. This is where we began. It's also where I proposed. I took her hand. Now I want to say a few words to you here. She looked at me curiously. Thank you, Sophia. I said seriously, thank you for showing me what true love is. Thank you for giving me a complete family. Thank you for being with me through the most beautiful 20 years of my life. Tears welled in her eyes. Fool, I should be the one thanking you. You made me understand what it feels like to be truly loved. Then let's thank each other. I said with a smile. Thank fate for bringing us together. If there's a next life, I'll marry you again, she said earnestly. If there's a next life, I'll recognize you at first sight. I lightly kissed the back of her hand, and then choose you without hesitation. We embraced each other just like 20 years ago. In that moment, I suddenly remember my past life. If he could see me now, he would surely feel grateful for this choice. Sometimes, loss is for a better gain. Sometimes, missing something is meant to meet the right person. Sometimes, death is meant for a new beginning. I am very grateful for that rebirth. It gave me the chance to correct my mistakes and taught me what is truly worth cherishing. Olivia taught me what obsession is. Sophia taught me what true love is. Noah taught me what betrayal is, and Lucas taught me what friendship means. All experiences, good or bad, have made me a better version of myself. Now I no longer suffer over what I cannot have. I only feel grateful for what I do have. I no longer envy other people's lives. I only cherish my own happiness. No longer chasing grand, whirlwind love, only enjoying the gentle warmth of a long-lasting flow. This is the greatest gift rebirth gave me, teaching me to be content, to cherish, to love. On the way home, Sophia suddenly said, Do you know, I've always had a secret. What secret? I asked curiously. I actually noticed you back in our freshman year. She said a bit shyly. You used to sit alone in the corner of the library reading, looking lonely but very focused. I thought to myself, this boy must be very deep. I was stunned. Then why didn't you tell me earlier? Because later you started pursuing Olivia. She smiled wryly. I could only watch you quietly, hoping you'd come to your senses soon. So that's why you worked so hard to persuade me to give her up? She nodded. I want you to see that there are other people in the world who care about you. I stopped in my tracks and held her tightly. Sorry for keeping you waiting so long. Not long. She laughed in my arms. For you, it's worth waiting as long as it takes. That night, the four of us sat in the living room watching TV. Little Ethan is doing his homework, little Sophia is drawing, Sophia is knitting a sweater, and I am reading a book. Such an ordinary scene, yet it fills me with immense contentment. This is what happiness looks like. Not needing grand gestures, only companionship and devotion. Before sleep, I wrote the final lines in my diary. If life is an exam, then my answer is, choose the right person, live the right life, do the right things. Olivia was once my obsession, but Sophia is my home. Thankful that rebirth gave me a second chance to choose. Thankful that fate let me meet the best of her. From now on, I will not look back, only forward. Because the best life is living the simplest days with the one you love most. Closing the diary, I looked at Sophia sleeping beside me, a boundless tenderness welling up in my heart. In my previous life I died because of a wrong choice. In this life I live within the right love. This is the meaning of my rebirth. Not to seek revenge, not to change something earth-shattering, but to learn to love, to learn to cherish, to learn to live a life that truly belongs to me. Afterward, someone asked me, if you were given another chance, would you choose to be reborn again? I don't think I would, because the life I have now is the best I can imagine. A loving wife, adorable children, a harmonious family, and a meaningful career. What more could one ask for in a life like this? The meaning of rebirth does not lie in changing the past, but in seizing the present. May everyone find their own Sophia and live a happiness that belongs to them. May everyone understand that the best love is not conquest, but companionship. May everyone understand that the greatest happiness is not in obtaining, but in cherishing. This is the story I wanted to tell you. A story about rebirth, about choices, about true love. Thank you for keeping me company. The story ends here. But life goes on, love continues, and happiness is still on its way. May you and I both be able to write our own beautiful endings.